Happy International Women's Day! My name's Áine Mallon and I'm a composer from County Armagh.
My name is Rhona Clarke. I'm a Dublin-based composer. I've written for orchestra, choirs, various chamber groups, including 4-string quartets, 4-piano trios, and some electronic music and a few orchestral pieces. I really do feel very comfortable writing for voice or voices. There have been many opportunities to have performances by both professional and amateur choirs. We have some very good amateur choirs here in Ireland now. A recent highlight was last year when the CD that I have been working on with the State Choir Latvia and their wonderful conductor Maris Širmais was published. It has pieces that are written over a span of some 30 years. You know, some pieces are largely forgotten about. Others were quite recent. The one written for the State Choir Latvia, a Requiem in 4 movements.
A highlight of my career so far would have to be one of the choral pieces that I wrote for the Aura Singers, a piece called Liminal Dawn. And the theme, really the subject of the piece, was about this sort of ecological collapse of bird populations in the last 20 to 30 years. Another highlight is something that I'm writing at the minute, which is a super exciting project, and it's a choose your own adventure operetta. And I was working with a group of writers from Armagh and most recently with a dramaturg to work on the script. It's a retelling of a Greek myth, a very interesting story of Cassiopeia and Andromeda. The most exciting things that I find to write about are narrative focused. As humans, stories are really important to us. You know, we are stories, everything is a story. And so finding a narrative and having a really focused sound through a narrative in music is something that I find incredibly enjoyable.
I don't really think in terms of topics, at least not straight away when I want to write music. Usually I'll start with a musical idea and decide I'd like to write this kind of thing, and then I look for a text that will suit. I think mood is what I look for, particular feeling. Not overly emotional or mushy or, you know, nothing like that, but I like to have an emotional reaction to a piece of music or some sort of reaction. So I'm seeking that. I'm also seeking something that I haven't heard before, either as a listener or as a composer.
So the theme of the upcoming Chamber Choir Ireland concert at New Music Dublin 2023 is peace and love. And the piece that I am writing is, the text is from the Song of Songs. So I'm setting one of the canticles from the Song of Songs, which is a really beautiful poem about love and longing. So I'm just getting inside that at the minute and working through the text and fleshing everything out, and I'm really trying to highlight this peaceful and very loving narrative throughout all of the poetry, because it's very florid text, like it's really emotive, really beautiful text. My process for choral composition is fairly clear cut. I usually spend quite a long time in the text. So a couple of weeks I will spend reading the text, visualizing the words, getting inside the text and really pulling it apart before I begin setting it to music. And then I'll sort the structure, how it all fits together before I even put the music down.
Opportunities for composers in Ireland, I think, have increased considerably in sort of exponentially, I'd say, nearly over 30 years, 40 years. When the composer Jane O'Leary came to Ireland first, well over 40 years ago, she was so taken aback that there were not specialist performers of contemporary music that she set up the group Concord to rectify that. And now there are several groups specialising in contemporary performance.
With institutions like Chamber Choir Ireland continually commissioning composers to write new music, and other institutions like the Contemporary Music Centre of Ireland, I think composers in Ireland are very well supported, and it provides a really solid grounding to live as a composer here.
When I was younger, there were, quite a limited number of composers of, it's so hard to find the right term, isn't it? Contemporary classical, it's a terrible term. But there were very few, and it seems to be expanding all the time, which can only be a good thing. It's no longer such a strange thing to do, I find, in Ireland, to write music.